This is Abnormal Entertainment.
That's enough out of you.
What's going on?
Overall thoughts on Tim?
We're already going to talk about him.
We're not going to talk about him.
He left for like 5 seconds.
We're not going to talk about him on the next episode. I'm sorry.
Well, I wasn't
I
saying
think
for the
he's
next
aged
episode.
very well.
Wow.
You should tell your dad that. He looks
Yeah.
great for his age.
He does.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know if he's for sure my buddy's dad, but he could be. It's
You
still
should get blood
up in the air.
tests. Blood tests.
He has a
Like he would
27-year-old.
admit to it.
You swabbed his
Right.
mouth before he left, right?
Yeah, like, have some complimentary water.
And here, let me clean out your fingernails for you. Oh, this one needs a
We
snippet.
do that for all the guests.
Snip,
It's
snip,
not.
snip.
It's not weird.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
here,
so
let me-
creepy.
Let me clean your tongue with this Q-tip.
That's nice.
Put it in our collection.
We save DNA samples from all of our guests.
In case something happens to you, we clone you, and we want you back on the show.
Well, there you go.
Cover
Yeah.
our bases.
Yeah.
Hey, get out of here. You are invited.
Welcome to GloryHoundd and the Uninvited Gamers. I am GloryHoundd, and our other uninvited gamers for today are...
Richard?
I profit.
DrGloryHogg.
I swear, this week has been crazy for me. Like, I don't think iProfit saw it, but did anybody see my bloopers?
Yes.
I saw them.
Oh my god.
Show me your bloopers.
Oh, yeah.
Bloomers?
She was trying to do her 5-minute video, or was it fan favorites? What's it
Yeah,
called?
favorite game Fridays.
Favorite Game Friday. There we go.
Yeah.
And she
Like I don't
could
know how to
not
talk this
She
week.
she came up with like a 3 things she wanted to say, and she couldn't remember them. Like every
I
take.
don't know what it was.
Wait, is this it? Wait, it's like I've never done this
God
before.
damn it, I know.
This
Oh my
sounds
God.
stupid. All of this sounds...
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I can't remember what the hell I'm doing this week. So,
This week's been crazy for me too because I finally completed my Generation 1 Pokédex on Pokemon Go.
did you?
It was very
Wow.
hard work. Lots of walking, lots of egg hatching. Manly stuff.
Yeah.
Male penguins egg hatch.
That's true. Thank you for that.
You know what else fails is Kickstarters sometimes. They fail.
I didn't fail.
Oh.
I completed it.
Well,
Don't act like you weren't playing. Just because I'm the only one who's keeping it alive.
I play a
I'm
little bit.
single-handedly supporting them.
so, yeah, we all know, we all sign up to say that the Kickstarter is not a store. Like, you see that over and over again, and you click past it on your, whatever.
Yes.
users agreement.
Button.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Give me all the things. All the things. I want all the things. But, like, sometimes it's just really disappointing. Like, I had one that dragged on for 4 years. And
Yeah.
finally decided and they actually produced part of the Kickstarter too, which is kind of hilarious. So they didn't get all of it.
They what?
Yeah, so like this was Kickstarter for
Catan, the gaming board.
yeah, Catan the gaming board, and they had a regular Catan board,
Right.
and then they had a 5 to 6 player version of that, and then they had a Seafarers version that they were going to produce.
Okay.
And they had, like, the card holders and all sorts of other nonsense.
Like
But-
extras and stuff. So,
Yeah.
was this like made out of hardwood or something?
Well, they had one level that was a hardwood one. That was like a CNC cut one. You could get, like, a stainless steel version of the same thing.
okay.
And then there was plastic ones. They were going to injection mold. The base version was injection molded plastic, which anybody that knows anything about injection molded plastic is molds are really expensive.
Yeah.
So they went round and round, and I got the Seafarers version because I think Catan in its normal shape is a little constrained. You don't get a whole lot out of it. But I like having to build the ships and go across the different islands. So I got that, and it was $50. That's a pretty good price for a modular game board plastic that
Right.
you can do and They
You never saw it.
they finally said no, because they even went to the point where they were selling the base stuff on Amazon. They said, well, if we sell enough of these things, we'll produce the other thing.
What the hell?
Yeah, no, it was pretty like at one point they said we would give you your money back, and I should have taken it, but it was $50, and I was like, all right, well, I'll wait another 6 months to a year to
You
get
need to be in a support group,
Right.
I think.
yeah. So
Well, we talk about Kickstarters a lot on here, and we don't talk about that aspect that some Kickstarters do fail. A lot of the ones that we talk about, we try to mitigate that particular thing with saying, okay, this is a cool mini or not one. There are game companies that have proved themselves a couple times.
Right, or it's somebody who's like done a couple different
Right.
They've done 4 or 5 different
Yeah,
other things.
but when you get on Kickstarter, there is always a chance that you may not get your product.
yeah, because it's not made yet.
Right.
If they
Always a
could
chance.
if they can make it themselves, they wouldn't even need to be on Kickstarter.
I was reading through the comments, though, on that Catan gaming board, and like those poor people, they're like,
yeah.
don't give your money to this person
Well, and
anymore, and just
They did
oh,
another
my God.
Kickstarter after this Kickstarter, and they
Did they?
fulfilled most of that one too.
Oh God! Wow.
So
Okay.
like, yeah.
So here's the thing, guys. Whenever you're looking into a Kickstarter, and one, make sure that company has already produced something before. 2, you can look at any Kickstarter comments. You don't have to back anything. You can just go to their comments section and see what people were talking about on the previous things that they've kickstarted, okay? And that's going to give you a lot of insight to that company, how they handle business, how they handle the people, if it was taking a long time, and how they ran that campaign. And
Like,
that's
did
going to
they
help
run it
you make a
sexy
decision.
style or
Yeah.
just regular enchilada
Well, it's
style.
going to help you make an enchilada decision or a sexy decision. So
Sexy enchiladas.
I don't know which one of those were worse. I mean, it was like they both sounded good.
I mean, I don't know.
Depends on the mood.
Yeah.
Sometimes one after the other.
Yeah,
I
or one
haven't-
before the other. Ooh.
Sometimes you want a
Same
sloppy
thing.
enchilada. No.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
Enchilada's always sloppy.
I had another Kickstarter that I consider failed, but I don't necessarily feel bad about it because it was the gentleman behind Ren and Stimpy.
okay.
He was kickstarting a little short animation. Space Madman. Space. Log. It's log. Everybody likes log. Anyway.
Everyone.
And it was like it was going to be kind of cool. It was kind of throwback to a memory he had as a kid, where his father would always buy the dented cans at the store, and
Okay.
it always be like, oh, maybe it's peaches this time, and it was never peaches. So he was making a small animation. I was like, oh, that's cool, and he got sick. Like he had a whole little company that kind of set up to try and produce this thing, and he got sick. So I'm like, okay, yeah, no.
Well, that's understandable.
Like
yeah.
just the flu or
No, I think I don't remember exactly what he had, but it was pretty dire, and I don't
Bullet
know.
holes.
Yeah.
But I think he ran out of money too. So
Well, out of the 50 some odd games, I don't know, like 56 or something games that we've backed, only one of them have we not gotten like the product from.
which one is that?
That was the Deadwood one thing, or was it Deadwood? It was a computer. It's the
Yeah,
only
it's-
computer game that we
Right,
kickstarted.
I thought
It was
that's
one
which
you
you're going with.
wanted.
It's still ongoing.
Yeah, it is
They're
ongoing.
still working on it.
They're still working
what was
on
the
it.
name of it?
So it's
It could happen.
right. I'm so excited. I don't. Was it Deadwood? It was
I
like
can't remember
It's
what
from
it
like
was. It's
Steamroller
Dead something,
Studios.
yeah.
It's essentially it's kind of like
It's like a Pinocchio-like character because it's a mannequin made out of wood, and
the
he's
idea
going
is it's
through
supposed to be
and-
kind of like the old Curse of Monkey Island or Monkey Island, where you find like a fish and then you use that fish to give to some old lady, and she gives you
Yeah.
glitter, and then you use that
Oh, you
glitter
mean
to
like
sprinkle on
adventure game
ants.
style?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sprinkle that glitter on ants, and then those ants
Like
give your
King's
cat
Quest.
rabies, and then
Yes.
the rabies is how you move that log and find a treasure underneath. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at this, obviously.
And then the other one that we backed that took a really, really long time to get our product was the Pocket Odyssey one.
Well, we got that right.
We
Yeah,
did.
we've been using
we
it,
did
so.
get that, but Pocket Odyssey it was his first campaign, and it just took longer than he expected, like a year
well,
longer.
even Cool Mini or
So-
Not's Arcadia Quest, like we were supposed to get it in time
Yeah.
for my birthday, and then we got it like at Christmas. So
Yeah, well, that was
which
like
was
6 months.
6 months,
Right. Which Arcadia
So my
Quest,
birthday's in June.
or which Cool Mini or Not
Send me
has
gifts.
been people have talked about that a lot, how they
Yeah.
never get their product out at the time that they promise.
I think
So
their
they're
biggest
working on that.
issue is, I mean, they do say that they source most of it in China, which can be kind of, sometimes there's some issues there. And then also, half the time when they kickstart something, they're like, we'll add this at this level and
Yeah.
add this at this level. Next thing you know, they're like, okay, we were planning on doing 100 miniatures. We're actually going to be doing 215.
Well, and that's why I never talk about the Cool Mini or Not ones, just for that fact, is that you're getting so much stuff from that Kickstarter.
Well, you definitely have to know going into it that it could not fund.
Yeah.
That it could definitely be delays. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
the idea behind Kickstarters is somebody who's new trying to do something.
Right. But, I mean, there's people like Michael Coe that, I mean, he delivers his Kickstarters when they're, like, the month. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I
mean,
think he actually
has
signed a deal with
excellent rate.
a demon at the crossroads or something.
Did he?
So, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
he
going to
also-
burn out later
That
in
makes a
life.
lot of
He also
sense.
doesn't really produce his own games. He has other people fulfill or basically produce all the things and box it for him. So he
Yeah.
doesn't actually like.
But
He
he-
lays it out and
Right.
he knows who to go to do
but
that.
all that
but
takes time.
It does take some experience,
setting up.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and knowing how long things are going to take and working with those people. I mean, you have to be knowledgeable whenever you're doing
Right.
Kickstarter
There's
to do
inherent
that
risk
stuff.
in
Yeah.
Kickstarter because there's inherent awesomeness that nobody else will ever get to see.
Well, and
That's true.
You could definitely do better, like Michael Coe does, by sacrificing some of your profit.
That's true.
Because that's what you're
get
doing. is
people
you're,
out-
You're
to get it out
paying
there.
more people to get the thing done on time.
Right. Mhm. Well, you know what? We have a Twitter poll for the week, and it's what review or do you say about a board game that you didn't like? So
Bless its heart.
I've heard that some reviewers won't review board games that they don't like.
That's weird to me.
It's tough though because you don't want to. So I got an
hold
example.
on 1 second. Let me put the things that I used for it. I put the option 1 that just say it's a terrible game. Option 2 would be it's simply not for me. 3 would be bring up the pros and cons. And then, like, the last option is just never talk about it, which would be that example that I was talking about, where they just don't bring it up.
So what I was going to say is early on when you were doing some of your YouTube reviews and some other stuff,
Some blogs.
we were first starting up, I made the point that you should never badmouth a company. You can more pros and cons, like this is what I like, this is what I didn't like. But if you're just badmouthing a company, just because that one game doesn't work or doesn't work for you doesn't mean other people might not like it. And or that they might produce something else that's really great, or they could even fix it in an expansion, the things that you hate. So I try not to just dump on a company. The worst insult I give a company is just say I'm not interested at all. Like, so it just means I'm not going to even attempt to buy it or play it. So, it would have to be a fluke that I went to it. So that's probably my worst one. But I do try to do pros and cons because a lot of times there's a game that you might not necessarily like. Like, I'll probably never play that again, but I like this aspect of it. But this is why it didn't work for me.
Right.
Sometimes it can be just theme. Like, I don't like the theme of this, which might come up later if we talk about something. So
Right.
And to me, if you're a game reviewer, right? If you're a game reviewer, I want to hear up front that you got the game for free. Because to me, that colors your review in some way. Now, if I
good or bad, because sometimes if you buy a game, you're going to judge it more harshly. I spent
Right.
$60.
yeah,
I think it depends on personality type. There's going to be some people that they feel like they invested in it. They might want to justify, like, no, really, it's good. I played it once and it was painful, but yeah.
Anytime you spend money, it's you kind of feel like you either need to justify it or you expect more of it. Anytime you add one other variable, it's going to affect the other variables.
right.
Okay.
But I want to hear that up front. But to me, I want to talk about something if I don't like it just as much as if I do like it. Because
Okay.
We talked about Light and Dark, right? The Druid game?
We did
Yeah.
talk about Light and
Yeah.
Dark.
And we did not particularly enjoy that game.
No, and I think you need to tell people about your experience. Now,
So they don't keep buying bad games. That
Right.
doesn't make board gamers happy. You don't want a bunch of board gamers bringing bad games to board game
Well,
cons, and then I'll have to play them.
That's the other thing, though. I mean, is there truly a bad game? Because, I mean, there's different games for everybody, you know?
Well, I think iProfit is really good about saying, different, what do you always say? Different strokes for different folks?
Probably. I say a lot of stroke comments.
You do talk a lot about stroking.
You do.
Strong man, stroke man, stroke.
Stroke it to the left, stroke it to the right.
I think that it's really important, though, to... Hello, how are you doing?
We're being
Say hi?
Fantastic. I
Oh.
just got back from Gamma.
Oh, did you really?
awesome.
Lots
Oh,
of cool stuff to add.
awesome. Well,
And is
hey,
any of
go
that
ahead
cool
and,
stuff going to
hand
be
them the
left
mic for a
on your
second.
back dock for any amount of time?
I was trying to get that to happen while I was at Gamma. I was
Yeah.
just going booth to booth at the end and saying, I drove here, and I know you don't want to take this on the plane.
Yeah.
It's probably actually more expensive to add an extra bag on the plane than it is to just give it to
That's true.
I've
That's
actually
very
said that
true.
before.
nearly had Workshop giving me the 8-foot Space Marine. Very nearly. I thought I had him. I told him I would stick it out the sunroof and send him a
That
video
would've been
of me going
awesome.
all the
Yeah.
way to Phoenix.
I've
quite get the deal
actually
done.
gotten some stuff like that where I was like, "Do you really want to package this up? I'll
Yeah.
give you $10
Oh,
right
yeah.
now for it." And they're
No-
like,
nobody
"Sure,
wants to
sir.
package stuff up.
You can take this
It's
Magic
Las
the Gathering
Vegas.
stuff."
The sooner they
It's
give it away,
lame.
the sooner they can go drink.
True.
That's
So-
right.
That is
Well,
true.
go ahead and introduce yourself. We're down here at Games U
Oh.
today. Yeah,
Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm the owner of Games U.
that's right.
Welcome
And-
back.
Yeah,
Thank
welcome
you.
back from Gamma and everything. Is there anything particular that you saw that you're like, we must have this?
WizKids has a partnership with a couple of different companies that's producing role-playing miniatures that are, I want to say they're under $4 per pack. They're pre-assembled,
Wow.
pre-primed with Vallejo primer, and
Really?
they're role-playing sets. So it's the same character twice, low level, high level. So you have
that's cool.
like Rogue with a crappy dagger and beat up armor.
Oh, wow.
And then
Yeah.
you have like Rogue Resplendent with ornate jeweled weapons and they're in the same set.
That's
and there's,
awesome.
like 50
You
or
can like
60
upgrade them.
different
That's
ones.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because I was actually here a little early, and I kind of wandered around the store. It's like, you have a really nice paints and brushes already kind of set up, and I was like, man, I really wish one of these miniatures on the shelf was already primed. I could sit down and start working on it right now.
They're really good miniatures. They're already primed, and the primer looks really good. Like
Oh, that's
it's
nice.
Wow.
not a hack job. It's really well done. So
All right.
next time you guys are in, remind me, and I'll show you one.
Okay,
I
yeah.
have one somewhere in here.
Nice.
Okay.
But Haba Games we're going to bring in, which is
Oh,
a
are
German
you?
company.
Yeah, mhm.
It's little kid games.
Yeah.
But
Some of them are good. We were like
they're
getting down on
amazing.
Rhino Hero like
they
crazy.
have one, what's it called? Something with the eggs. Dancing eggs or something.
I know the
It's
one
the
you're talking
newer
about.
one.
It's
yeah.
for like 4-year-olds, but it's also like the greatest drinking game ever.
You're like, this
So-
is fantastic.
That's weird. My
That's
4-year-old,
the thing.
It's German.
4-year-olds
so,
make me want to drink also.
So
How long are you at my house? Yeah, I'm
several
drinking.
of their games.
Well, that's excellent. Yeah, that's a great game company.
Yeah,
I mean,
I could go on for hours, but I'll let you get back to your
okay.
thing.
Well,
Thanks for coming again.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Anytime, sir.
I'm derailed.
Yeah, where
You
we
were
at?
talking about the things with the stuff and the yaw.
Okay, so
Thank you.
That was very helpful.
You saved us.
I'm
I
like a
think
lifesaver.
that whenever you have to go to the pros and cons, but you also have to mention that your particular style of gaming and what you like, and that this reflects upon you in maybe a negative light because you're not into these type of games, or I really like
can
this
imagine
game
that
because
you want to say that because you generally like almost immediately go, I hate those games.
well,
So people can know
yeah.
that you're a snooty booty
Well,
immediately.
But that's huge because that means that the majority of dice games I'm not going to like. There could be a fantastic dice game out there.
They give you the best
that
dice
I'm-
game called
yeah,
King of Tokyo.
that I am just not going to like for no other reason other
Because
than
of
it's a dice game.
6 oversized dice
Yeah,
with punches
and
on
so
them?
it's not fair of me to have a bad review about like King of Tokyo because
You have no soul.
tons of people love that game,
Right.
and
It'd be like
I
if
can
you
just
didn't
say,
like
hey,
coffee or something like
I
that.
don't
That's
like
just
that
you.
game.
This tastes like
You
piss
might.
water. Well, you don't
might.
like coffee. so.
And then saying this game applies to these type of gamers. If you like those type of games, maybe you should do that. That's a big thing with reviewers. If you find a reviewer that you have the same sort of personality type with,
If you have a
you
similar
can follow
personality
them.
to me, please check
You're like,
yourself in right
I love
away.
puking glitter too. I
That's
should
right.
totally like
I should
this
totally
game or
follow
not.
GloryHounds.
I like drunk cats that shoot glitter out of their butts.
But once you get matched up with the right type of reviewer, you know that whenever this person reviews those games, that
Meeplematch.com.
hey,
We trademarked that too.
that, hey, I'm probably going to like this game as well. Because there's been a game, we got, what was it, Gruff, I think?
Yeah.
And I remember going on the Dice Tower, and Tom Vassell reviewed it. And listening to his review, and he compared the art on Gruff to, what was it, the dolls, the disgusting doll things. What the hell are they?
Oh, you're talking about like
Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah.
Garbage Pail Kids. He compared the art on Gruff to the Garbage Pail Kids.
But
And I
some
was
people
like,
love Garbage Pail
That's
Kids.
fucking it's two totally different things, though. Like,
right. It's not babies with nails sticking out of its
right,
face.
yeah.
But-
It's like a horrific monster, like in Magic, where you would see something that would be
Yeah, like
frightening.
it's a twisted abomination.
Yeah.
5-3.
Frightening, but it wasn't like disgusting. And I was like, wow, he just like totally nixed all of the art in this game because he was like, I think it looks like
Right,
Garbage
he's
Pail
kinda
Kids. And I was like, that was
dismissing it.
unfair.
Yeah, right.
It was very unfair.
You should write him a letter.
And well, after I saw that, I was like, man, I am never going to do that to a game and in a review because
That's my job.
Well, because it was so unfair, and that's one of my favorite things about Gruff is the art.
Or
on
you can
it.
be tactful. You can say, the art did not appeal to me.
Right, exactly.
It's not the style I would have
It
preferred.
seemed like Garbage Pail Kids, which is garbage, and I hate garbage. Like this game.
You might like garbage if you do.
And there's a
That
lot,
sounds like her. If you like garbage games, you might enjoy this. It has dice.
and there's a lot of role-playing books, especially in the old school revival movement, which is like people that weren't alive during first edition D&D trying to make first edition D&D. That using, if you look at those old first edition books, the art is kind of high school like level artists at this
Right,
point.
they probably
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of money.
They're
But-
like, I can't have a
Art
friend
has
that kind of
changed.
draws. Will you draw this one?
Art has
But-
changed a lot.
But to me, that art is definitely evocative of that time, but it's
Right.
also, kind of leaving something to the imagination, which you don't get with a lot of stuff nowadays. So it just depends on what your taste in art is. So it's
Right.
the same thing with games. So,
Right,
like,
exactly.
super
So you have to
Some
go
people
ahead
like tasteful nudes, some people don't.
and talk about a game and say your biasness for it. And I agree with you too, Richard, in the fact that, if it was a paid review, like, it's good to know that because your aspects could change a little bit, or even just you listening to it could change a little bit on what you're looking
Well, I
at
want
or
to
what you're
mention
thinking
that
of,
we could use some of those.
Yeah.
We would be happy to demo and review it. So
We
send
would.
us,
And
send
you
us
know
your
what?
nudes and
And
also...
we'll do the pros and cons. And we'll
At
do the pros and
GloryHoundd,
cons.
or not
No,
Dr.
no. At DrGloryHogg.
Please don't send me nudes. unless they're nude worthy.
Well, Twitter said 12% said that they would just straight off say it was a terrible game. It was terrible. 18% would say that's simply not for me. 53% said bring up the pros and cons, and 17% said never talk about it.
I can see that. There's games that I played that I probably wouldn't really ever talk about because I don't think they'd interest anybody, and they were bad. So,
You're like, ooh, we shouldn't. We'll pretend this never
just like
happened.
all polls, you can kind of be a little bit of everything. I just like all polls. Wait,
Wow. Hold on.
what a slip! Oops.
I'm glad you can finally admit that.
Wow. and you gave me a hard time whenever we were talking
I did
about
give you a hard
somebody.
time. You're welcome.
Wow. Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. So we recently got a chance to play New York Slice. Richard, I don't think...
No, I didn't play.
Yeah, I was going to say you haven't played it, huh?
Have you eaten pizza
legitly-
before, sir?
I have eaten pizza.
Legitly,
Okay.
this time
You
he did
know
not
about half
play.
the game.
So if I talk about him not being there, I'm not being a jerk.
Right.
this time.
This time,
Are you sure it wasn't there?
I'm not. I have a blind spot for him.
I'd played New York Slice before, and that's kind of how I got introduced to the game. I thought, oh man, this is like a fantastic game for what it is, because whenever you look at it, initially my reaction was, I'm probably not going to like
like
this
pizza,
game
but how
because
much?
it's going to be like just
Cheesy?
Yeah, it's going to be cheesy. It's going to be a cheesy party game. And I was like, I'm probably not going to like
Thunderdome.
this. And then I was shocked to find out it was a strategic pizza game.
It was.
So what is this game like?
It's
You assemble
essentially-
your army of pizzas.
Oh, that would be awesome.
and they fight across the top of food
Oh my
trucks
God, right?
That was
on an
that,
island that throws fireballs
okay.
at them.
It's
So-
like pizza chess, like pizza battle chess.
I'm going to digress
Seven
a little bit
layers,
here.
7 layers.
Does anybody remember the food action hero
Yes.
things from the 90s,
Yeah.
the 80s and 90s? Do you remember
Yes,
those?
yes.
We were going to make it's another my cousin story, but we were talking about making a video game of those things fighting each other. So it'd
That would be awesome. It'd be like the Street Fighter
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
And you could probably put it in multiple game types, so probably a good
Oh yeah.
franchise.
Well, New York Slice is really cool. I like the fact that you open the box and it opens like an actual pizza box.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
then-
when she legitly brought it home, I thought
Wait, what?
for a second there that when she had it on the table, I thought it was actually a box of pizza for like half a second. I'm like, did you get Papa John's?
yeah.
And then she's like, it's the game! And she was so excited.
Awesome. Let's look at these minis.
Oh, what is this? This is the WizKids minis?
Oh, that's so cool.
Puzzle.
Oh, it looks so good.
Oh, those are primed up. They weren't kidding. When it says primed
Can you-
with, it is primed with.
They're not painted by the Chinese kids in.
Richard, can
They
you
are
get a
made
picture?
in China. It's
Yeah.
WizKids,
And I'll take a picture and then I'll put it
Pazio,
online
Pathfinder
for us.
Battles. Let's see. Take a look, everyone.
That's fantastic.
And you're giving these out as free demos?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
I got confused while we're here.
And you said the price point was about $5.
It's less than 4.
Less than 4. Wow.
That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
That's nice.
Or 385
It's
I would
that's
definitely
so
do
cool.
that.
I would
Especially
totally
it's
do
really
that.
for 2 good miniatures.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I paid 10 for this one sitting here that's not painted and doesn't have his arm. So there's that.
I don't need an arm.
I know. I'm aware. I still want this one.
We'll have to pick some of those up then. Jeez, awesome. Okay, all right, thank you. So you open up the box, and it looks like an actual pizza box. And the little counter thing that you write all the points down looks like an actual little
Check.
check that
Yeah,
you would
nice,
write out and
nice.
everything. All the slices of pizza are different slices. You know, it can be supreme pizza and pepperoni and everything. And what you do
cheese.
is you mix up all these slices of
Veggie.
pizza so you can't see them. And then you put them in stacks. And each stack of 11 pieces is one round that you play. And whoever's starting that round, they lay out the pizzas in the stack
Yeah, you
just
flip
as they
them out.
go.
Yeah, you flip them out
Yeah.
randomly, so you never know like where the numbers are going to be.
Yeah, and so you flip them out as the stack comes out, and then you have to divide that pizza into
Equal
equal quotation marks
Right.
portions.
So we had 3
for every
players.
single player.
So you had to make 3 piles, and then
Yeah.
So you want it.
Well, 3 slices because
Right.
you can't move the pieces. And each piece
all you
has
can do
a
is
different
break 'em
points value associated with them, and you're trying to collect sets. So the person who is slicing the pizza gets the last slice. So you're trying to make it beneficial for everybody, but also try to get what you want.
So that's where
out of it.
that's where the strategy comes in because you're like, what
and
do
it
they
becomes
want?
heavy strategy.
How do I want to break this up? So I
after
know
like that
she's
second
gonna
or
take
third round?
And not get
the
left with
11
shit.
pepperonis.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right. I want to make sure she takes the pepperonis that are 11s and he
Yeah.
takes the veggies that are 5s or whatever. And you're like, so that I can get all the 3 mozzarella ones. And you're like,
Right.
yeah, I win.
And you can't move these pieces around. You have to just do it, split it in whatever portion.
Just like you
it
would with
is
the regular
out.
pizza.
Yeah.
Like it's round and you just have to decide how big the slices are and how many
Right.
slices are included.
And then each round you have a special power that comes up, and you can either leave that as a separate thing that somebody can get instead of the slices, or you can add it to the slices
daily
to kind of like
special.
sweeten the
Yeah.
deal. Yeah.
And they're good. They're like, let you get
Yeah, they give
dibs.
special
you call dibs. You get
abilities.
to take a slice off right away whenever the pizza's shown. And
Yeah. And it was surprisingly very strategic, and I enjoyed it a lot. Like, enough so that I was like, I have to get this game as soon as it comes out. And then I showed it to you guys, so.
Yeah, we liked it. It was a really good game.
It was very good, yeah. And I feel like it was so easy to teach that you'd pretty much be able to teach everybody.
Well, one of the problems we have when we game is that she usually is the one that learns the game and then demos it. So then the first time she's showing it to us, she usually wins. Because partly I have to play a game to know how to win.
A lot of
essentially.
people do.
Like I have to
Yeah.
actually be in it and know what. I have to have
Especially when there's
reference.
rounds and stuff like that. Like you're
Yeah.
halfway through, and then
And then you're like,
oh, I
ah,
should have
shit.
totally. Yeah.
Like, what am I
Yeah,
doing?
like
you
I
know?
need references. Like the first mistake I made the first time was I just threw my pizza out all crazy and I wasn't really tracking my slices. And then when we went to score, when we went to go score it, I realized that I had 7 of these things or 8 of these things,
Right,
and
you
I only
didn't really
needed
need that
4
many,
to
yeah.
have the majority.
Right, you just need the majority to get the
So
full point.
The points.
I could have
yeah.
eaten them for extra points and stuff, and so like that could have cost me the game.
Yeah. So it was a really
But it didn't.
interesting game.
No, it didn't cost me the game. I won. But we played it again, and I won that time also. I was on a real hot streak that night. I
You
won
were on a really
I won
hot
all
streak
4
that
games we
night.
played.
You
It
did.
was good.
There was 4. I thought there was 3.
No, there's 4 games. We played 2 of the pizza game. We played Champions of Midgard, and then we played Gravwell.
Gravwell.
And I realized after we're done with this, I'm actually undefeated in all 3 of those games.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I can never play them again.
And we shall never play them again.
Never again.
And
Have
I've
fun
thrown
playing
them
that.
out.
You're retired.
I retired from Gravo.
I think New York Slice too. It didn't take a really long time. So
No, it was fun, and you
It was
could
fun.
Talk in between.
Right.
It's when you're doing the slicing, you're probably intently looking at your stuff, but in between, you can kind of talk and
Right, you could still kind of break it out at a party.
slicing,
Yeah.
it was like where I was like, oh god, I had some tough decisions. I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this? It was
well, it's like a party game.
intense.
You could get it going like in a party, and
Yeah.
then like after people are like 2 or 3 rounds into it, they'd be like, "Holy crap!" And they put their beer down and like really
Yeah.
think about it. But at first, I was just like, "I sliced this way, yay! It's me, I'm Mario." You know. And then after like
you become a
after, like,
plumber, and then
Yeah, somehow a plumber got involved.
plumbers always get involved.
sexy.
But after the pizza,
I'm here
you
to check
clog
your
the toilet.
pipes.
You need the Mario plumber.
that's bad.
Yeah.
So you got to clean the carpets first.
Yeah.
That's going to sound so different. So I think it's about time for intermission, guys.
Really? Wow, that went fast.
I know.
I always finish quick.
We know.
We know.
We know.
But I always finish.
Intermission. You should be nicer to iProfit.
Do you want me to be nicer? I mean,
He takes care of you. He takes good care of you.
if I get any nicer, he might have to get remarried.
If GloryHoundd passes away, iProfit gets custody. So
Yeah, I probably do need someone to be in charge of most of my life decisions.
That's very true.
Because I'm really here just to be pretty.
Just Colleen will tell you everything you need to do.
That's actually pretty true. I don't know if there could be 2 of us in one house.
So we have some awesome Kickstarters coming up. Let's talk about Rising Sun from Cool Mini or Not. Made like $1 million or something already. Freaking crazy. It was like 24 hours and like bam.
wham bam, thank you, man.
Yeah, like crazy funded. And I heard Eric Lang's been working on this one for a while.
Yeah.
I mean the game looks. I didn't get to see the whole gameplay video but the miniatures look good. The gameplay,
miniatures look fantastic.
I was very tempted if I wasn't
It's okay, we got
from all
it.
the rest of the kicks. Oh,
It's
you
okay,
did?
we got it, yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
We got you.
From heavy hitters, I'm still broke.
Right, I was going to say, it's getting to that point now where I'm like, we need to like coordinate who's getting the game.
Right?
Because
We all come together. We're like, hold on.
there was another game that we were looking at, and I'm like, I want to kind of kickstart that. I'm like, we just
Right,
did
the
Rising
Village
Sun.
one.
Yeah, I was like the Village Attacks.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I like the idea of that one, but I'm like, do I need to own that one, or do I want someone else to own
Right.
it? So I might have you get that one for me.
Oh, okay.
Real excited.
The Cool Mini or
It
Not
gives
one,
you
though.
lots of time. I mean, there's still a lot of time left on that one, so you can work some overtime, and then it then,
Oh, that's
then it
so
won't even
nice.
affect your budget.
Well, the cool thing with Rising Sun is the fact that they're making, the majority of all those tokens and everything, plastic pieces and like,
Right. like in true
getting
cool mini
insanely
or not
upgraded.
fashion, it's like
Yeah,
this got
insanely
kickstarted
upgraded
like
things.
5 times over. So
Yeah.
we upgraded this, and they're not like we're just upgrading cardstock. They're like we're going to
No.
make this plastic, and now this is
Yeah.
plastic, and now we're going to make this a miniature, and we're going to add a bunch of new content. Like there's new monsters and
So
new.
who doesn't want a samurai game with a kaiju that looks vaguely like a very famous kaiju that
Right?
everyone knows?
Right?
Japanese.
It's gonna be
people that
awesome.
Are scared of kaiju.
They open the
That's
box and
right.
just
Oh
run
my
away.
god.
Yeah, no, the miniatures. I mean, I know that's what they do. It's in their name, but they are amazing. They're
Well,
amazing miniatures.
And it was kind of interesting that the Kickstarter started off at $100 for the box, but like that was it. It was like, okay, here's $100 for the game, and they didn't have any other choices. I thought that was really
I
interesting.
think that's
do-
the best idea ever.
They
I
didn't do
think
like
so,
the
too.
early
I
bird
think so,
and a
too.
bunch of other ridiculous because it does get confusing. Like you get this
It
tier
does.
plus this. I think you got to keep it kind of almost at like a 3 level, if anything. Like maybe an early bird, and then maybe like a regular package, and then a regular package with upgraded components as like the third one or something. But I think they do. Some games have the tendency of like, here's our 12 different package options. Which one do you like? And you're like,
Yeah,
too much.
It was
Well,
a lot.
I think like the other, if they one option or 2 options, I get 1 or 2 options
Right.
for
I don't want
levels.
like 10 choices where I'm like, oh my god, what am I actually choosing here? Hold on.
And-
Because it
then-
does get confusing
Yeah.
sometimes.
and then like a limited amount of stretch goals, please.
A
'Cause
limited amount, really.
Yeah.
I like all their stretch goals though.
Well,
they have
they're-
like
they're
a ton
cool.
of cool stuff.
They're cool, but like I don't need an email every day about the 3 stretch goals that I'm getting. at
Well,
some
if
point,
they, you know what they're doing it though is they're emailing you and they're only revealing one stretch goal at a time. If they did 5 of them, then it would be a little different because they go, okay, here's our 5 stretch goals, and then you wouldn't get an email for a while. But this one, like every single stretch goal, they're posting it and releasing it every single time. So you're getting that email
Well,
once, twice a day.
It's the community's fault. Stop backing it. Jeez. Jerk.
Vote with your money.
That game was so backed, like it was insane.
Baby got back.
Yeah, baby got real backed on that.
I think like they started. I'm sure this is not how it went down, but in my mind, this is how it worked.
Well, they
put the
straight
game
up-
up. They put the game up, and so it's one of Eric Lang's projects. They put the game up, and it just got so funded. They were just like, "Fuck it, we're hiring him. Let's just hire him right now.
That's right.
Let's
They're
just
like,
throw money at his
you know
face.
what?
We love you. Here, take
Yes.
this money. Have some glitter. Pew!" And just
Well,
they bought him right
this
then
game
and there.
literally broke the Kickstarter website and, with people backing it, and like Kickstarter went down for a while with people trying to get on there to back
And
this.
Kickstarter never goes down except for like maybe on my birthday.
Right, yeah. I mean, you have to be really special to get Kickstarter to go down
Super
on you.
backer.
Yeah, super backer status.
Ooh, I know all about that. Anyway,
You're right, though. Maybe they went ahead and thought, oh, shit, well, we better get Eric Lang
Yeah,
on
like,
this team.
right. Like Blood Rage wasn't a mistake. Like all these other games he's done, they're like,
Right.
he just keeps killing it. With
Yeah,
these,
just
so
nailing these games
why
like
not
he has
just
to.
buy that beautiful brain?
Right. So,
Your sound effects are on point, I Prophet. Because that's how you buy a brain.
you
Just
have,
with a weird popping sound.
if you haven't backed that, which you probably have,
Back that.
because everybody's backed that,
Back that girl.
but you have 4 days left.
You gotta back it up. I like the way you work it. Everything.
Go diggity.
You got to
Gotta
bag it up.
Back it up.
That's originally how Dr. GloryHogg thought it went.
I did think
gotta-
that's,
you
I
gotta
thought that
bag it.
song, being young and impressionable, I thought that song was you gotta bag it up. Like, you go, you get the,
Like a dog poop?
Yeah,
no, you go.
he's like in the grocery
Listen,
store.
You go, you get the girl, you bag her
Yeah.
up, you take her home, like caveman style. I thought. I don't
Well,
know.
you
I thought he was bagging up women's. He's got binders full of
body
women's.
bag.
It's like putting a ring on it, but the man
Well,
version.
Yeah,
You
never
gotta
heard-
bag it up.
Bag her up.
you
Well,
never heard
you
the
do bag it
condoms
up.
referred
Yeah.
to as bags?
Well,
You do need to bag it up. That is
Bag
true.
it up.
You
Bag-
should for
I
safety.
don't know.
Bag it up.
and whenever he started singing it to me, I'm like, I don't think that means
let
what
me
you think
finish
that
the song.
means.
She let me finish the song.
I did, just so I could just, give you the squinty eyes.
Everybody has a certain song that they heard wrong the
I don't
first time,
know.
and they can never unhear it. And so it's just wrong forever. Like my daughter was, we were listening to, what was it, Hot Stuff?
Yeah.
And instead of the hot stuff, she thought they were saying pasta. She's like, I want some pasta, baby, this evening. Gotta get some pasta. Gotta get some pasta. She's like, why do they want pasta so much? And she was like 5. And she was hearing pasta in the back seat instead of,
hot stuff.
Hot stuff.
Sweet.
Well,
yeah, I think
later when she's 30,
we'll be like,
we'll let her know.
So you didn't tell her though, so she's going to be like married and like, singing it to her husband.
And I didn't say anything.
Pasta.
Yeah. I added, pasta. Woo!
That's true.
That noodle.
Whoa. Ricotta. Tortellini. I can also say other Italian words. Or American words that sound Italian-ish. Chef Boyardee.
Was it how the Italian likes
Beef
something?
Beefaloni.
This is going on the internet, how the Italian likes something?
Yeah. With the hand gesture that nobody can see on the podcast.
This is like,
Yeah, somebody at work was doing it. Like, I can speak Italian. You just say everything, but you do this with your head.
It's really
You
horrible
talk really
and dirty.
loudly and
It's really horrible
Be like
and
every
dirty.
American tourist ever.
So we also have Dragoon, the Rogue, the Barbarian, and the expansion.
I get those from the Chinese place sometimes. Cheese-filled dragoons.
The Dragoons. They're delicious. You can go next door
Cheesy
for
dragon.
that.
This looked like a fun game. It was the metal pieces that actually. I was like, oh, they have plastic versions. Like, why would you want the plastic version if you can get the metal version? Like,
Maybe people have an allergy.
I guess.
An allergy
I have
to
a
the
metal
metal.
allergy.
I do.
She actually does have a metal allergy.
Yeah.
But weirdly, it's fine for gold.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And platinum, totally good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just no cheap metals, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
The quality, she's allergic
Yep.
to crap.
Basically. I don't know how she lives the day with me. She's got to wake up just like in hives. This isn't worth it. I got to
Oh
leave.
my god.
I'm going to work. You make me sick.
I put lots of ointment on before bed.
Oh, yeah.
Ointment.
Yeah.
That's a sexy word. Not. Moist.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. The last 2 ones, I cannot remember because I looked these up a while ago.
So Dragoon was the one that was like kind of like a playmat you roll out, and it had tiles. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of Suro in the way
Okay.
that you roll dice to place the tiles.
Right.
And then your dragons fly around to collect treasure and manipulate the cities and stuff and get tribute.
Mm-hmm.
Each of the different players played a little differently. Like the
Yeah.
was trying to steal.
And
the
you're all
treasures.
dragons, and then if you play the expansion, because I'm talking about the original, then the
Right.
expansion is a barbarian, and he's got a deck of cards that he can use in order to like get gold and stuff. And then because Glory, I think, instead, and then the rogue
me more.
can run around and like steal treasures from people and stuff, but doesn't use deck of cards. It plays just differently with alternate stuff. Has like different abilities like lockpick and shovel and I don't know, stuff like that.
Shovel.
I think that was one of the abilities. Shovel.
Well, they had these priced
shoveler.
from like $30 to $650.
Well, that's because one of them has like real precious metal in it, right? Like it's actually gold and
like
stuff.
freaking ridiculous.
Oh no, that's the one that has wormwood involved in it, and so it's a wood.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a wood
that's right,
version of it,
that's
and it's got
right.
drawers underneath for it. So it's like
That's why I like
once
that.
you get to a certain point where it's like, this is the only game I'll ever own. $650 game. I hope everyone likes it. And then your gaming group's like, it was okay. And you're like,
that's
oh, good,
fine.
I'm going to kill myself now.
Great. You
I
use
just
that
dropped
for something
$650
else.
on this.
You use that for something else.
Use it for chess.
That's
the
right.
best
They
game
were
ever
paired
invented.
up with Wormwood. They do some awesome stuff.
Yeah, Wormwood
Yeah.
does. They do awesome stuff, but
They
it all
do.
costs like $7,000 plus.
Well,
Handcrafted.
You can get a
quality
little
kind of
box.
stuff, right?
Made in America.
yeah, no,
With
there's
exotic woods from the
freaking
Amazon.
stuff is awesome. If you want to
it's good.
murder some trees, do it in style.
If you want your
with
friends
class.
to be jealous when they're
Okay.
when they're spilling beer on your games,
Yes.
that's the company to go to.
when they're ruining your exotic hardwoods with their cheetah fingers.
Oh, God.
You know, you get to a certain point in time where if you invest enough into like your game screen or this or
You
that.
get better friends? Is that where you're going?
No, I
Oh,
feel like I would actually murder somebody for like touching something. You could actually just be like, I snapped, he broke a piece of this wood, I stabbed him in the neck. It was like a 3-second thing. It was not an aggressive action.
Like, he stabbed him with the game piece.
He attacked my game first.
That's right.
It was self-defense.
That happens.
Blood under pressure.
Yeah. It's not an aggressive act, though, if you slap it out of their hands.
Right, that's
Yeah.
We had that argument in a role-playing game. We were doing a Vampire the Masquerade where somebody was cocking a shotgun. It was probably me, and they were like, "I'm going to slap it out of their hands," and I was like, "Well, I'm going to point it at you then, because you're like coming at me. It's not aggressive action." I'm like, "No, that is. You run up and slap something out of their hand.
Still an
That's
attack.
pretty aggressive."
And didn't you slap something out of somebody's hand?
Well, then later, I said, well, I told him to make a roll, and so he had the dice in his hand. I went up and I slapped him out of his fucking hand, and then he got all mad and stood up, and I was like, "We can do this." I'm like, "But it's not aggressive, right?" And so he got mad, I got mad. He never came back after that, but that's fine. It was weird. But then I didn't demonstrated it later as a joke to some random guy that I never met before.
And that
he
didn't
had
go
a
over
chip
well.
in his mouth, and I went up and I was
It was
like
like a sandwich.
"Boom," or a piece of sandwich, and I slapped it out of his mouth,
slapped
and I
a
said,
sandwich
"It's not
out
an
of his
aggressive
hand.
action, man." And he just stood there, and I guess he had like the look of murder in his eyes, and he like avoids me to this day.
Of course, Dr. GloryHogg's like,
So everybody
funny.
else there knew the story and
Yeah.
was laughing except for him, and so I assumed he was fine with it. They're like, "No, he wanted to kill you." I'm like, "Well, he was not non-threat, so I'm not worried about it."
And that's how Dr. GloryHogg got sued.
No, that's not how I got sued. It was a different reason.
Malpractice.
Malpractice mostly, yes.
And the class action lawsuit. We're not supposed to talk about.
But
that.
yeah, so that's why that particular player like actually does hate me, like for
Oh,
real,
my God.
and has made it known to my other friends that do like me.
He, like, prints
And so
out
if
pictures
I,
of you and throws
well,
Yeah.
no,
stuff
if
at
I
him.
go
Yeah.
to an event, like if he knows if I RSVP to an event within like 24 hours, he will un-RSVP from it, like on Meetup or Facebook or something. So if I RSVP yes, he like un-RSVPs. Like almost immediately afterwards, like after he already said yes earlier, and I'm like, "Wow, man!"
So a note to our viewers, don't slap things
Like
out
I'll
of people's
give
hands.
him a sandwich. Like God, how hungry was he that he's crying about? It was like a little nub. It was a nub. I didn't slap his face. It wasn't aggressive.
Overall, though, now, like I've slapped stuff out of your hand so many times.
Well, then there was the whole like video of the dog.
That's slapped.
And she's
I'm
giving-
sorry, we've been derailed.
She's giving her dog like pancakes with like a candle in it, and the dog just looks at her and goes boom and just paws it, and flips the pancakes out. She's like, "You think pancakes is gonna fix this shit, Heather?" So it's like really funny.
So, like, anytime GloryHogg's eating anything, I try to come over there and slap it out of his
it's a very abusive relationship.
It is.
You heard it first.
Well, looking at
You
it,
rub his
obviously
face
he
in
still
it
gets
like,
eat that shit, you bitch.
No, she'll be like boom and knocks him on the head. She's like, "You think that's gonna fix this shit, Heather?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Who's Heather? I don't know a Heather."
Well, obviously by looking at him, he still gets enough to eat. So
Oh,
Okay.
no,
Well, no, that was an
no.
aggressive action.
An aggressive action.
I earned this
I'm gonna
stomach,
need you
sir.
to
I
make a
ate
roll.
every calorie that's involved in it.
you did.
That's true. It's because
I was
make
skinny
good food.
once.
It's because I make good food. That's what it is.
It's true. There's two things she's good at. One of them's making food. The other one's
Hosting
making
pot.
food.
Making food. Hosting a podcast.
But I was
Very nice.
I was winking and giving like the innuendo looks to Prophet, so he knew what making food really meant.
Wink, wink, nudge,
Like
nudge,
tacos.
know what I mean? Know what I mean?
hot tacos.
She knows her way around a hot dog. I don't know. I don't know if whispering into the mic works the way I
don't
it
think that
does.
does. Yeah, I can hear everything. Yeah. You're whispering directly into his ear.
So Dragoon,
So,
though, how do
yes,
you feel about the
Dragoon.
actual game now? Wow.
I feel like
I
I
am so
just
sorry,
want
Mom.
that big chest.
What the? You like the Wormwood?
Yeah,
version.
I like the Wormwood
Well, yeah, I
thing.
think that if you took a Wormwood
But I'm not
version
gonna
of
be able to,
Zombie
like, get
Side,
that.
it would be badass too. Like it's a game, and they got wood walls and little drawers for the zombie, and you don't even really
Yeah.
particularly like Zombicide, but
That's
that
true.
right there would make it good. So don't buy it for the Wormwood, just buy it for Wormwood for a game you do like.
Like I remember when they did the Monopoly Anniversary Edition, and when I was a kid, I saw that they had it had the little box thing, and then
Yeah.
the board was up there, and all the pieces were gold, and it had a little chest with the pull-out drawers, and then it had all the money in there.
Yeah.
And all I wanted was the fucking box. That's all I wanted.
She loves
I just
box.
wanted to put stuff in the box. That's all I want.
She should
That's
have been
another
born
show.
a man.
That's another show.
Good segue.
So, Village Attacks.
Well, no. So you didn't discuss if you actually well, you don't. What'd you
No.
think about it?
I think it might have been really interesting. I'm not certain because
You feel like it's one that you'd have to probably play first?
yeah, because the graphic design was really awesome. The different the way they presented it was really good, but I couldn't tell if I was going to like the game or not.
That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah.
So I watched them talking about it. I read some of the reviews, and then I was watching other videos and trying to go online because it's been produced
Yeah,
before.
it's
The
the
game
second
has.
edition.
This is right.
Yeah.
It's a second printing plus. It's expansions with a second printing
Right.
option. I feel like it's definitely one of those ones I'd have to try. Like the first time I looked at Suro and tried playing Suro, I didn't really particularly like it. But then after I played it more than once or twice, I'm like, oh, this is actually not a bad game. I think this is one that I would have to play.
Play in person. Well, abstract
I'm
games,
not ready
a lot
to
of
just.
times you do.
Well, right. I just don't know if I'm willing to throw money at it yet.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, all those cool options like the $6.50 option and then like
But,
the
I
real
mean,
gold option, all that stuff
if
doesn't
you like
really
it-
work for me.
If you like it, you can get it for $30. So
If you like it, buy it.
that's right. Let's go on to play it this week.
All right.
What do we play?
We played Gravwell,
Good game.
and it looks like somebody played 5th edition D&D.
Yeah, I did.
How did you? So have we discussed the difference between a 4th edition and 5th edition on this show?
I think a little bit. It's been like touched upon, but that's it.
It's probably best that the edition wars died already. But
Well, right. I mean, I would play either version.
Pick
but,
your edition that you like and just go with it.
yeah.
So you played it. So what did you think?
So this was
This
really.
is your segment. Go for it.
I know.
You will not be
I'm well
interrupted.
aware I put this on the schedule, so
Don't worry. I will not interrupt you since I was not there.
Here it comes. I know it's coming. It's coming.
yeah. So I played a 5th edition game, but it's a little different. It's a West Marches style game. So this was
Basically,
actually
West Styles Marches game is a game where you're in the west of the marches.
And then you march, and it becomes Westworld.
Back
Ta-da!
to you, Richard.
Thank you. So the this was actually kind of made up by the creator of Microscope and Kingdoms, which are world-building games where it's collaborative world-building. So you're supposed to build your world before you play it. With Microscope, like you start from the beginning of the universe and you build. So you have all sorts of interesting history of this fallen empire before you start.
So instead of like a normal RPG where you have to play it for years and you're like, oh, remember that one time we went to this inn and now it's a major focal point of this campaign that, it happened like 3 years ago. Like they kind of have you build the history up front.
Right. And that's this guy's product that he sells. Well, this was a game that he did where the kind of the heroes had a central town that they were in, and there was like a map carved into a table. Like this is the legendary. It's like a legendary treasure map, like a thing they can't take with them, but it kind of hints at things that are out in the world. So as you go through the world, the game master kind of and what's cool is you're playing with like 15 to 20 people that can just switch in and out.
Oh, okay.
So you're trying to have more of a, instead of a single group of a few people, like that may or may not, it could die, that can die really quickly. We've all had that where like,
Right.
oh yeah, everybody's excited, and 2 games later it's gone. This is like, okay, so you found this lead that was a deck of cards that had some map on one of the cards.
Yeah, I did.
And so you go, okay, I really want to chase this down. So you write a post or you kind of talk to everybody and say, hey, I want to run this down. Who wants to come with me? So you kind of describe the lead. So the players are kind of trying to recruit. Yeah.
Is this all online or is it in person?
This one is all online.
Okay.
But you can do it in person. Actually, I was before my buddy from back east decided to run this, because he's the one that introduced it with a video on his Facebook wall, and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing, really exciting, because one of the problems I always have is like getting players to, kind of show up, and what this does is allows everybody to kind of like
Play when they can.
I'm, as a game master, willing to run these 3 nights. So you guys figure out who's going to come, who's excited about this adventure that you found. So
What?
Nothing.
Oh my god.
anyway, so this game is it's only been going for like a month now.
Yeah.
And there's a Facebook group, and it's just like post after post of people like, I found this interesting thing and this interesting thing, and they have like, and it's really easy to have multiple GMs. So it's like it's kind of a living world, like in microcosm, like the Living Greyhawk or whatever.
That sounds pretty cool, because I've got some friends at work that actually do the World of Darkness, like LARP, and they do a lot of their stuff online, and it's a system that's Mind's Eye Society. And it goes across like the whole U.S.,
Yeah.
So there's people playing in Florida that can affect your game in Arizona and New York and everything. So but a lot of that stuff's chronicled and then put online, so people know like, okay, this person's died. So like,
who's
that
the new
person's
prince
integral
of
to
this
you,
city?
right? And that
Because
makes a
this has
difference if you ever
changed, yeah.
travel there or if they're your allies and all that. So
Right.
it sounds kind of like that, where you can play offline essentially, like
Yeah.
when it's not your gaming time. Like,
Chronicle it.
at work when you're supposed to be doing stuff. You're like, I'm going to check this out.
You can be messaging the game master to have a NPC encounter.
Right.
Well, they kind of set up, what was it? Was it Roll20?
Obsidian Portal?
Oh, yeah, Obsidian Portal for
like
that.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where you could put your own campaign on there and have your campaign page.
It's a campaign wiki.
Yeah, exactly. And
Right,
then
it was nice, and you could
it was very
make it
cool.
where
You could
certain
make
things
things
would
were
unlock
secret.
whenever they would. Right, that was the
Yeah.
cool thing. So like you couldn't
For
see each other's
specific
character
people,
sheets,
yeah.
and yeah.
which was really neat.
We use that for my second edition game. My buddy's been running forever. We have a wiki. We have a Obsidian Portal site for that. So, and he was, all the. What's interesting is, it's a side note, is all the player characters are all pictures of real people, like actual photographs, and then all the NPCs are all cartoon or images of.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's kind of like the PCs are, pop out because they're like
Right.
a little more real than the NPCs that are kind of the background.
That makes sense.
Right.
So just as a little weirdness, but yeah, we're playing this on Roll20. So it's a Facebook group playing on Roll20, and then I think they use Discord as kind of like the
Right.
voice solution for
Is it still accepting new players, or
Yeah. I mean, I can tag you guys and see if you want to join or whatever.
more
but-
just
That's
for like
cool.
our listeners too? Like
Right.
they would want to be involved.
well, it's a secret group, so message me. But
Gotcha.
I don't know how.
You
I
have
would
to be like totally cool.
I would be.
I would. What I think would be really cool is to do something like if we eventually did something where we were running RPGs for people doing this style campaign,
Right.
Where
Well, I'd definitely be interested in looking at it because it sounds really interesting.
there's a video I'll send you a link to, so you can put it
Okay.
on the page that explains it really well,
Okay.
like vastly better than I can. So
It's actually me narrating the video.
It reminds me
yeah.
a lot of like way back in the day, when there was still AOL internet and everything. They'd have chat rooms, and then you'd pick like your specific role-playing chat room. And I know this sounds really dirty right now, but it was not. It was
AOL,
totally a gaming thing.
ASL.
And then you would go
Asexual.
ahead and pick your chat room, and then you'd be in there and interacting with people. But you'd be able to play this game, and they had /roll, and then whatever D, 6 or whatever, and you could actually play a game while just talking and interacting to people on the computer, and have a story and have an adventure, and then move along and like create this whole thing for yourselves. Like, it was very interesting, and there would be people.
More mud-like.
Yeah, well, there would be people that would have like groups of people together that would do battles and like all sorts of really cool stuff.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but anybody you meet online is just role playing because there are no girls on the internet. That's a
Wait,
proven
what?
fact.
Well,
There's no girls.
don't
if a girl is
it's true
messaging
anymore.
you
Really
through
odd.
any type
That's
of
really
website
odd.
or anything, there's no girls on the internet.
30 years ago, you weren't
Not even 30 years
still,
ago, but right, because there's always been girls on the internet. But generally, if one of them is messaging you online and she looks really good looking, she's not real.
I was real.
I
was real, sir.
But you didn't have your picture on there, so
I think. Well, I don't know what you did. I don't know. I had some weird names.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was your
amazing.
weirdest name ever?
But Monkey 17.
I don't know if I
That was
should
Miley
say.
Cyrus's.
I don't know if I should say.
Yeah, because somebody might
because
take
at the
something up.
time, I thought that like, well, nah, never mind.
Moving on.
Intriguing.
Never mind.
If you want to know more, become a Patreon member.
If we ever do that. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's really fascinating. I wish I had more time for it.
Yeah.
So right now I don't have a lot of time.
It sounds very intriguing. It's nice that you can pick it up and go whenever you want.
Right. So yeah, we just had some random first level characters go do a thing the other day, and
That's
it
very
was,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good idea. So you can go to Roll20. There's the
Yeah.
website or the video that we'll post so that people can hear about it and they can start their own.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a cool like wiki page with all this information about it.
What
and
a safe
video.
way to play, because, man, you could be, like, in your house.
That's
like,
true.
Behind your barricades and your interlocking sectors of fire and never have
With
to
your
worry
cats.
about
And naked.
And naked with your cats.
it. Generally, when I have interlocking sectors of fire, I'm not naked. But sure. Behind your minefields, barbed wire.
Even if
Concertina
in your
wire.
underwear with your
I like to go
bulletproof vest.
Greco-Roman style.
Yo, you yourself? Wrestle me! Wrestle me!
Yes.
You start oiling
Yes,
yourself
of course.
That's
up.
going to be your new thing
What was
now.
that
Whenever I feel like
one?
you need attention, I'll be like, wrestle me, senpai! The ladies' man.
The ladies' man, that's
You're
right, where
gonna
the
want
guy
the
just kept
oil.
oiling
No,
himself
I
up
think
all the
I'm
time. He
okay.
wanted to wrestle everybody.
You're going to want to
What
take
was-
the oil.
what was
It's
the
rough.
What was the movie where Burt Reynolds was all oiled up and he's like, it squishes between my toes?
It was, I think it was Vaseline or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was in
Ooh.
boots, but
Yeah,
yeah.
he had, like, it squishes between my toes.
Oh my
You know,
god.
yeah, I purged most of that from my memory.
You know what
but-
else? You know what else squishes between your toes? I don't know. We're going to
was
talk
gonna-
about
that was-
Grapple.
Gravity, yeah.
I was gonna say something, but I'm trying to keep this PC.
Oh, right.
Instead of NPC.
Yes.
All right, Gravwell.
Gravel. We played Gravel the other day. So, iProfit, did you like it?
Well, do we want to describe it, or
Okay.
we already have before, haven't we? Reviewed this?
No.
Did we never?
I thought we did.
We've
No,
never we haven't talked about it.
We were going to talk about it the other day.
Yeah, but we did not.
But we couldn't escape the singularity enough to.
Yeah.
Well,
Talk
Gravwell is a game where you're in ships. You all start in the
Ships, not chips.
I said ships.
Okay.
Stop trying
I'm
to
just
make me
making
do
sure.
anything. Yes, you're in chips, and you're a spice.
You're trying to escape the bag.
Yeah, I don't guess, Tom.
To get out of the
Your
singularity.
name is Ruffles. I don't. So, anyways, the game is you are all in ships,
Spaceships.
spaceships with chips in them, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Chips is
And
also-
you are trying to escape a singularity that's sucking you in, like a black hole type situation, correct?
Right.
And the thing that's interesting about this game is that you mine resources, aka like you draft cards that dictate how you move, and your movement is dictated by all the other ships, their gravity.
Right.
So you have to like slingshot past people if you're behind them, or if you're in front of them and you play a card that, you know, to try to move forward, but there's more people behind you, like their gravity will pull you back closer to the singularity.
Right, so you may
So
be
it's a game
playing
of going
a
back
card
and forth.
that you think is going to move you forward,
Then
but
moves you
that
back.
particular card ends up moving you backward
Right,
because
and-
of where everybody else
Because
has
the
moved.
elements are played in alphabetical
Right.
order.
Right, and it's important that there's like, you know, there's repulsor beams. So if you're ahead, you're trying to basically make sure that you get to push off the nearest, you know, the most gravity push off from that, or you can like tractor beam people in towards you. So it's a game that as you're going around the board, you go forward and back. There's times where I would go
You do.
forward 8 and go back 6, and
Yeah.
then go forward 4 and then go back
You can
3.
do an emergency stop, so that kind of like
Once, yeah,
ends
round.
it, but that's once per round. And
if you
you
use it
probably
too-
lay down 6 cards, I think it is.
Something like that.
Every round.
If you do it too early too, then
like
it's
5
like
or 6
then you can
cards.
get stuck with something really, really bad
Yeah.
and you can't stop it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of you have to play into that too.
There's
But
only
it's-
so much you can do.
It is interesting though because it is a leapfrogging game where you will go back and forth, and I mean you can pretty much only win it if you were in the back towards the end.
Right. You can't ever, like, it's not like a racing game where you could get
No.
ahead and stay
If you
ahead.
get too far
If you
ahead,
get too
you're
far ahead, you
stuck.
screw yourself,
Right.
basically. Because
You have to wait for everybody else
ca-
to catch up to
There's
you.
more cards that move you forward, which, if there's more people behind you, they're just moving you backwards.
and forward towards the singularity.
No,
forward
away
away from
to
it.
the warp gate.
To the warp gate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's more cards that move you toward the warp gate, but it's only situational in the
If
fact
you're
that
ahead,
you have
you're
to
just gonna go backwards.
have people in front of you to move forward.
and there's some extra derelict ships that affect the mass, too. and
Yeah,
stuff
they
like that.
do. They do help.
But it is interesting. It did, you know, kind of like we've compared stuff to, like, chess. This kind of made me feel like playing Uno, you know,
Like
it's-
Uno Light. No.
Or Uno Heavy.
Oh,
Heavy
Uno,
Uno.
heavy
Yeah.
Uno.
Okay, Yanama and
heavy one.
heavier light.
You know, where, you know, you can get to, like, Uno, that one card, and then, like, next turn
You're
you're
like,
going to draw,
yeah,
like,
and then
20,
you're like,
you
ah,
know?
Yeah.
So it's very back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah.
So timing everything is important. and-
Right. Well, and the thing that I really thought was interesting about that particular game is that although you may like, so whenever you draft your cards, you draft a pile which has one face up and one face down. So one, you never know exactly what cards you're going to get, and two, you never know what everybody is going to put down.
Right, because
so,
you all played at once. So there's
Yeah.
there's times where you
So there's so
Go ahead.
much variation in that. I mean, not so much that you can't have a strategic plan, because you can look at your cards and go, okay, this is a strategic plan.
you can definitely get
but,
foiled though.
Oh, you can definitely
Like
get
I
foiled.
purposely
yeah.
will put like
But nothing that makes you angry, because you're just like,
Well,
shit,
right.
like...
I'll do like an A3 knowing that I'm going to go first and it's going to move me backwards. And so all of a sudden now I'm behind everybody. And so
Right.
anything they play is going to flip them behind me even further.
You're never in a chance where you're like, I've got this. This card combination is like gonna do... You never know
No, you have
until
to
you
play
put
your
the
cards
cards
each
down.
And, well,
You're
one of
playing
the-
each round and trying to judge your opponent.
Well, one
Yeah.
of the things they call out too is that the cards are always a known quantity. So technically, if you knew what all the cards were by the last round, like you should know what everyone is going to play.
Well, aren't there some cards that
No,
get taken
because
out?
there's a bunch of cards. There's a whole stack, and I mix them up every time,
Well,
and
you
then I
take
deal
3
them
out.
out. No, it's way more than 3.
Is it?
Yeah. There's a big stack of cards, and you mix them all up, and then you put them all out.
So you know I think
And
they
so
give you the
there's probably-
ratios of like how many A's there are to B's and how many C's and D's. But
Right. That
yeah,
shows
there's
that
probably
on the
20% of the cards left that
I
are
never looked at that
out. Yeah.
the whole time. Like until you told me about that, I didn't even realize it was on the board. I never used that.
So, I mean, there is some of that knowledge that you could use to kind of get an
Right.
informed decision, but that's the thing is like
I try
there's
to
still some
memorize what-
chance, some variance that
You're not going to be
Well,
able
and then
to
you
count
try to read the
cards,
player.
though.
So I try to think, okay, well, does John, does iProfit like to do a lot of late stuff, or does he like to go first so he knows what his moves are going to be? And then that can kind of mess you up too because you
Anticipating.
start doing the whole like, well, I think he's going to do this, so I'm going to
Right.
do this. But then if he knows I'm going to do that, he'll do this. type of,
so
you
there's a lot of
both
layers
end up drinking
to
the
it.
iodine powder, and one of you dies.
Well, and that's why I liked the game so much. It's a Mensa Select game, so it's meant to be somewhat challenging.
Right,
you know?
but you could play it like younger kids.
It
could
was
play
super
because,
easy to learn,
Right.
yeah.
It's,
They'll
it's
just
like
take
chess.
right, they just won't
Yeah.
end it. They probably won't get out the warp gate. They'll just win by whoever's the furthest
They'll
because there's
waffle
so much
around.
back and forth.
yeah,
Right.
But it's definitely doable. No,
Yeah.
we played it with player 3, and
we did.
played it with you, and we had a
There's-
similar
there's
experience.
Good counting. You got to think of relative
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely.
And then there's alphabet stuff. So like you could really have someone play at a young age.
And
too.
playing with a young kid and with a group of adults, because like we play with player 3, really throws some wild card action.
Yes, it does.
You're like, why did you even think that was a good idea? But okay.
Well, player 3 always adds variances in the game, but it was good that she caught on very quickly to the whole gravity thing. Like, I was really impressed, actually, to the fact that she realized, if there's more ships on this side, then this is going to
It's
happen
kind of a
to
neat
this
concept
mechanic.
to kind
yeah.
of have them even think
Right,
about.
and then
They
after
don't
we
think
were
about that.
done, she started following the laws of gravity, so that was good because we were worried that she was just going to not do
She
that.
just kept floating away.
Yeah.
Was
Well,
the problem.
she did get more
She'd just walk
interested in
over-
gravity
She would
after
just
that.
walk over cliffs and just keep going, and I'm like, oh, don't look down.
Yeah, kind of like Looney Tune.
Wile E. Coyote.
Well, she did
As long
have
as you
more
don't look
Indeed.
interest in the scientific portions of it. Of we're
Yeah, she did
escaping a
actually
black
wanna know
hole.
more about
Now
black
this is
holes
more
and
about
stuff.
gravity. Like,
So I explained to her
it
that
was
she's a black
actually
hole of
interesting.
money, and
That's
that
true.
we will never,
That's very true.
ever
Yeah.
be able to
Mhm.
retire because of
Yep,
her.
never. Mm-mm.
And board games.
Yeah.
But not magic. That fits in my budget just fine.
Yeah.
All right. So honorable mentions for this evening.
DrGloryHogg is an honorable mention.
That's right. And
You
I
can
Profit.
Mention
Richard.
me. You can praise me. You can talk of my deeds. Oh, sorry. Am I stealing yours?
Your deeds.
Deets.
We have
These deets.
Favorite Game Friday. It's on Dice Tower and at Epic Gaming Night on Instagram.
And
Check
if you
us
want
out.
more information on that, you can see her bloopers
That's right.
for the gaming night.
Yeah, for the long game, I think I did. You can see what my choice of the best long game is.
And you can see
When you
her
wanna
not
murder-
being able
It's
When
to
you
called
wanna
DrGloryHogg. That's
Wait.
the long game.
When you want to murder your friends in something.
Yeah,
I don't-
and then all sorts of bloopers. I could not handle myself that night, and it probably didn't help that Dr.
It took
GloryHogg
two
was
strong
there.
men to handle her.
It did. It always does.
I mean, well, just one. Semi-strong man. Retired.
We also have our show Mystery Dungeon 1000. If you haven't checked it out, I mean, just go listen to it. It's like 10 minutes.
It might actually be better than this
10
show.
minutes.
I think it is
might
better
be
than
better.
this
It
show.
is a funnier listen. I
Yeah.
actually use that as my segue when people are like, "Oh, what's your podcast about?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Listen to this 8 minutes," and then they're like, "Oh, this
It's so
is great."
it's such a little small quantity that you can just fit in anywhere,
And that's the best.
It's
I'm best in small
interesting.
quantities.
Being able to fit it anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes
That's
you
my
just get really
superpower.
sick.
Like
Me
this
too.
is so big.
Like in the
sometimes
backs
you're
of
just
a
like,
Volkswagen.
right? Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
ready for that today.
That's my superpower. I fit in anywhere.
That's right. And make sure to rate us on Stitcher and iTunes. So more people can hear us and everything.
Yeah, we'll
Plus, we want to know if we suck.
No,
Well,
we don't.
I mean, we know we
no,
suck.
We don't.
No, I mean, like, you should. If you have something you want to get off your chest, like you think the sound is
We
off
can
your
always
shirt.
improve ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Send
but don't
us
rate us with your stuff.
I'm fine with it.
Rate
but,
us with good stuff and tell us about what we can
mean,
fix. No.
Listen to us one and
I don't
never
want
talk
to-
about it again.
I don't want
That's
to
right.
censor you. I don't,
Pros and
That's
cons.
right.
I just prefer if you come at us.
Just never talk about
If you don't like our review, just never talk about it. Yeah.
Does anybody have anything else to add? How was everybody's day today?
It's no 4-game undefeated day, but it's pretty good.
Wow. Oh, my God.
This has been a GloryHoundd production in association with Abnormal Entertainment. For more shows, game news, and amazing adventures, follow us at GloryHoundd.com, at GloryHoundd on Twitter, or In Glory We Trust on Facebook.
Head to abnormalentertainment.com for all of our podcasts and blogs. Go to cinemaheadcheese.com for our movie reviews and news. Don't forget our YouTube channels, Abnormal Podcast and Cinema Head Cheese. Get us on Twitter, @AbnormalPodcast, and find all of our shows and Abnormal Entertainment on Facebook.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.